Hello everyone and welcome to another update about some more progress on the planning mode feature. If you haven't heard about it yet, have a look at last week's video where I introduced this. I worked on two more important things for planning mode. The first is the interaction of existing roads and planned roads, which will be needed for plans actually becoming a reality once you're done with them. And the second very important thing was to incorporate zoning with plans. And I didn't just port my old implementation of zoning into plans, I also came up with some new UI and some new features for zoning, which I'm sure you'll like. Let's have a look at all of that now. So the first thing we will have a look at is the interaction between planned roads and existing roads. And for that, let's first create a new plan, like we saw in the last update. And for demonstration purposes, you can see here that I added these lines on intersections so we can see all the connections that are created on an intersection. And of course, now we can change this plan, move it around, and add the press of a key combination, which for now is just Control-Enter. I can make this plan a reality. Now I want to make one thing clear here. I don't want plans to always work like that. In fact, many of you independently came up with what I actually want to do, and what I actually want to do is to have plans implemented slowly. Like you decide to now commit to a plan and then you will slowly see it become a reality. And this could even depend on how much money you put into the plan, how big your budget for it is. But this is all for the future. Right now I want to show you what it looks like if I create a new plan on top of this existing structure. You can see it automatically creates all the required intersections. The intersections just work like intersections in a new plan. And I can now decide to also commit this, for example. And now let's try something more interesting. What if we connect new roads to an existing intersection? You can see, again, it transforms this T intersection into a four-way intersection and creates all the necessary connections. We could take this even further and connect an additional road, and it will create a five-way intersection like this. Or what else could we try? We could try to, what happens if we create a T intersection here? And then you see if I bring it close to this other T intersection, it actually connects them, and it's like a stretched out four-way intersection, which has all the correct connections if you look at it. So the system, which was honestly quite hard to get working, supports all kinds of crazy cases like this now, which I'm really glad about. So yeah, that's the interaction between existing road and planned roads. Two more things that I want to say. Some of you had suggestions how I could implement these control points here better, how they would behave more naturally. The main thing to do there is to be able to grab the road at any point, not just at these control points. And I have lots of ideas there, but for now it's working quite well, at least for me. And yeah, expect some work on that in the future to make this interface more intuitive, but for now it's good enough for me. And the other thing is that, of course, I also want to add the possibility to kind of take an existing road and pull it back into a plan. So I could, for example, let's say this is the current main street of my village, and I want to like redesign the whole inner city, and I want to create a plan where the whole main road is moved down a couple meters. And I want to create a quick interface for that where I can basically take an existing road and make it part of a new plan again. But that should also be fairly easy to do based on what exists now. The second thing that I want to show you is how I incorporated zoning with plans. And for that, let's again quickly create a very simple plan and then switch to zoning mode inside plans, and I can draw zones like I used to along roads and assign them a zone type like this. And let's draw some more zones. For example, here I want a residential and commercial mixed, and here I want a purely commercial. Over here could be some industrial, let's say here a huge agricultural one. So if you look closely, you can see not only the zone colors like you used to, but there's actually some geometry visible. And this geometry is very meaningful. You can see that there's kind of this height associated with zones. And what this means is the maximum building height that is allowed in a zone. So you can see right now, all of these zones allow a maximum building height of 2 stories. And you can also notice that there's kind of a small gap between the road and where this 3D geometry starts. And that is the setback of the zone, which means how far away building structures have to be from the road, which is also a very important parameter for controlling density in your city. For example, you could say that these people shouldn't be able to build their homes right at the street, and instead you want to force them to build it further back and have green in front, for example, or parking. So what I can do is I can actually grab this setback corner here and just drag it inside. I can of course also drag the back corner of the zone and make the zone bigger again. Of course I can drag the start and end points of the zone. Let's do the same for this one here. You can see that it snaps to regular intervals, which allows me to easily line up zones precisely. And of course what I can do is to increase or decrease the allowed maximum height of the zone. And to do that I just click inside this area and drag up or down. And you can see the number of stories increase and decrease. So let's play around a little bit with all the other zones that I have here, especially the code, which handles these kind of corner cases, like here was very difficult to get right. And as you just saw, there's still some bugs with it. But yeah, the basic concept is working. Let's also give this industrial zone here some setback. Agriculture could be even deeper and doesn't need to be that high, just one. We could actually allow these industrial buildings to be quite high if we want to have big factories there. Maybe not that much, maybe like this. So yeah, this is what zoning looks like in Citybound, or what it will look like, and this is the amount of control you have over it. And of course, with zones being parts of plans, I have full undo and redo like for roads. So I can undo and redo all of my changes that I just did. And I can also change my plan completely. So if I switch back to road mode, I can actually move these roads around and the zones will adapt automatically. And yeah, isn't that really neat? You have complete freedom to change anything in your plan you want before you commit to it. Come back to zoning mode, change some of these parameters here, make this longer, make this longer. All of that is possible with planning mode. So now it really feels for me like I have the basics of planning mode down. There are of course lots and lots of things to fine-tune. There's still some more things left to implement before I can really use them, but I'm quite happy with what plans look like now. For the next nearest future, I really want to focus on economy again, however, and really try to get something visible going there and make use of all the abstract background work that I've been working on a couple of weeks ago. And I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know exactly when I will be so far to show you something, but I will try to do that as early as possible. Until then, take care and see you all soon. Thanks for watching, bye bye. Hello everyone and welcome to another video about some more progress on the planning mode feature. If you haven't heard about that yet, check out why can't I pronounce that? Check out last week's video. Okay, let's try again. Hello everyone and welcome to another update about the planning mode feature. If you haven't heard about that yet, check out maybe I should say